When you build a weapon, you're always hoping that it can reach the red crits potential. Because when you get a red crits, not only it has a high damage output, but it's so beautiful to look at. What the juicy race crits you have, right? But among all the weapons, it seems that there's a weapon that can naturally do red crits easily. It doesn't really need too much of the requirement or any investment. Yet it can manage to do red crits without too much problem. What weapon is this? The Kuva Chakkurr. Of course, most people would care about Kuva Brahma or Kuva Zar like all these AoE weapons, but I feel like Kuva Chakkurr is the true DPS weapon, and it can also have the capability to become a KPN weapon. But how it does? That is what we try to take a look in this video. So, without further ado, let's hop right into it. As a Kuva weapon, Kuva Chakkurr is one of the few weapons that got a good niche. Firstly, it can deal extra 50% base damage on headshot. Despite based on sortie, it mentioned that it is not a snipe. Yet, we can play this weapon as a snipe, and it is possible enough to build as a snipe headshot build. Not only that, its main shot can also deal force impact damage. If talk about force impact, we know that internal bleeding will be here. Because of this, most of the time, we can be predicted that Kuva Chakkurr is capable of riding an impact progenitor element. Unfortunately, based on what I could tell, it's not really worth it. That's because if force impact proc the internal bleeding, then the extra impact element on it won't be able to proc the internal bleeding another time, which means it can only proc once. Because the main shot already force proc impact, it is not really worth running the impact progenitor, unless you really want to make good use of the AoE. But in most scenarios, I think the Toxin Progenitor will be much better compared to the Impact Progenitor. Now, before I share my build here, I need to mention two things. Firstly, I got a Riven here, and this Riven is actually not that bad. I got the increased damage and crit chance in exchange of maximum ammo. But if you don't have a Riven, I will share with you what we will be replaced in the Riven slot. And secondly, my Kuva Chakkurr is Electricity Progenitor. Because I'm not able to get a Toxic Progenitor, so I don't think that my play will be better if I try to explain afterward. So do be aware, because for Kuva Chakkurr, I still think that Toxic Progenitor will be better compared to Electricity. So for our first Kuva Chakkurr build here, we'll be going with the Headshot build. Because we try to treat this weapon as a snipe, that's why we're not running Galvanized CO. Instead, we're going with the multi-shot and Galvanized Scope to increase the critical chance on headshot. And this also means that we'll be going with Vital Sense and Critical Delay to further enhance the critical chance and crit damage. For our damage part, we'll be running on the Faction mod and Deadhead because we headshot the enemies, so Deadhead will be taken much more valuable. As well as for our element, I'm not sure that what element do we go for, but the primary here will become the corrosive damage because it can do extra damage against armor. That's what I was hoping for. Bleeder around is here because I want to further enhance the critical damage, but you can go with something else. As for my Ravens, I think that it is possible now to just go with the raw damage build. That's why you can just go with the Serration or Amalgam Serration, very depend on your side. And for the extra slots, you can go with Vigilante Supplies. Not only can convert extra ammo, but you can also get the extra critical chance, which I think it is good enough. Headshot build could be enough because it can do a high damage. But if you want to make good use of internal bleeding, then for the second build here will be more focused on the slash build, which is relying on internal bleeding. And because we're relying on the slash, means that we're not gonna run with the headshot ammo. Instead, the multi-shot and the scope here will be changed into the galvanized aptitude so that we'll be able to make good use of the slash damage. And this also means that we change the Deadhead into Merciless because slash doing DOS damage is what Merciless really wanted to. The crits is still retained here as well as the faction, and for your elements, we decided to go with Viral. But because I don't have the Toxin Progenitor, so I forced to use Corrosive. But later on, I can still do a good job, so I don't have problem with it. Vigilante Supplies is still here, no problem. And this time around, we need internal bleeding. And for the last slot here, your Ribbon can change into something else, which is more the utility side. We're not going damage because it is too much additive damage where I do not want it to. So you can go with like Prime Fast Hands to increase the reload speed because you know that how long does it take for Kuva Chakkurr to reload, right? And so there you have it. Kuva Chakkurr is really a weapon that full of surprise because this weapon is not even a snipe, yet it can do a good amount of damage that as strong as snipe, but it can also do a good amount of damage across a crowd enemy just like an AoE weapon. I really don't regret farming this weapon as early on, because right now I still enjoy using this weapon. Not to mention that this high crit value, you can easily reach a red crit build with ease. How can you expect from this weapon? I really don't regret it. If this is your first time watching, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel so that you won't miss out any news contents from me. Why not leave your comments down below if you got any ideas or thoughts you want to share with all of us. And that's it from me, and as always, I will see you all next time. Bye bye!